2018. When everyone is in their deep sleeps, Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương, mom of over 350 children who have been being cared for and nurtured at Quê Hương Humanitarian Center in Tân Long Quarter, Tân Đông Hiệp Ward, Dĩ An Town, was awakened, and this was the motherly feeling just whispered that another child has been left abandoned around here and was desperately in need of her warmth and protection. And it was the heart loaded with love to unfortunate children that led her to the main gate, where the child had been left on the single rock in the film of the comet. Without any of the slightest hesitation, Miss Tiểu Hương arms opened wide and hugged the child up, warmed it up, gave it the fresh vitality from a gently sweet milk bottle, and hastily prepared a new future and a new life for it under the roof of Quê Hương shelter. So, Miss Tiểu Hương had another child bearing her Huỳnh surname, and Quê Hương Humanitarian Center had a new member, raising the total number of children bearing the surname up to 352. When this shelter is preparing to enter the age of 18. Quê Hương Humanitarian Center has been established and officially put into operation since December the 10th, 2001 in Tân Phú District, Ho Chi Minh City. The center's main goals are to adopt, bring up and give its free education, and these goals focus on threat guidance and vocational training for helpless and disabled children, so that they can be self-confident to integrate into the home community. The center's initial number of children was about 30. Apart from the available facilities and human resources, Miss Tiểu Hương has also mobilized and appealed compassionate hearts far and near to join their hands and services with her to help offer these children the most decent life. Thanks to her endless love, along with the dedicated attention and care of the center teachers and nurses, most of the children feel genuinely warm and happy, as if they are living in their own home. Quê Hương Humanitarian Center is long becoming a household name, and thus its leaders and employees all know in advance that the number of disabled children daily going to increase on a daily basis. Therefore, Miss Tiểu Hương has come to Bình Dương province to buy a much bigger lot of about 2,100 square meters to ask for the investment and construction permission of a new facility here. With the active support of various levels of authorities of Bình Dương province and the joint efforts of the entire community, on December 10, 2003, 2 years after the setting up of the center in Ho Chi Minh City, another Quê Hương Humanitarian Center officially came into operation in Tân Long Quarter, Tân Đông Hiệp Ward in Dĩ An Town, Bình Dương province. This event did mark the road in terms of operational skills, although during the recent periods, the material basis and schooling conditions of Quê Hương Humanitarian Center have been still difficult and destitute, mainly of makeshift rooms made of bamboo and thatch. But more importantly, the inauguration of the new establishment in Bình Dương province has been the significant turning point towards the center, and Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương herself in their humanitarian activities. Quê Hương Humanitarian Center has not only cared and brought up the disabled children, but in the face of the reality, that orphans, especially more increasingly abandoned newborns. The center has assumed the caring and bringing up newborns, largely due to the insufficient investments and unthoughtful preparation for this new work. Ms. Huỳnh Tiểu Hương and her colleagues have encountered lots of difficulties and pressures in caring for these newborns and public opinion as well. Infants are at large frail and weak, so that caring them cannot be simple at all. Here, all these newborns being raised at Quê Hương Center have been left abandoned by their parents right from the moment they were born. They were not breastfed, not pampered and warmed up by their mother's womb. So, the children's resistance or immune system towards some disease is very weak. A sick child can give rise to the spread among the others. Those who have been parents all well know that it is not easy for all of these children to live together in an environment as healthy as that in which we bring up from 1 to 2 children in our own homes. However, besides those who have always understood and shared such these charitable benefactions engulfed in difficulties and hard work, there are some public opinions that many children have not been well cared for at the center and ask the center to stop further adopting children. They do not understand that the goals of Ms. Tiểu Hương and the compassionate hearts here are to make their charitable benefactions so when children are abandoned in front of the center, they cannot ignore them. Although she well knows that the facilities of the center are not so spacious and the center's finance is not so good, she still wants to adopt the abandoned newborns to first of all save their lives. So, weathering and ironing out all the kites and the storm of slander, she and her colleagues have been silently and patiently germinating these children's beautiful dreams to be flying and steer the center to develop on a daily basis. So far, after 17 years of operation, all the aspects of Quê Hương Humanitarian Center have ceaselessly expanded. From the initial lot of only 2,100 square meters with rooms made of thatch, bamboo and leaves, insufficient board and lodging as well as children's means of study. Up to now, the scale of the center has been expanded to 12,000 square meters, with such the decent infrastructure is cafeteria, kindergarten, trade study rooms, housing for boys and girls, playgrounds, the photo gallery of the late top-ranking Võ Nguyên Giáp, and the temple of Huỳnh surname. Particularly in 2015, the center has completed and put into use Quê Hương preschool, elementary school, and junior high school, which is almost 2,000 square meters wide, 4 floors with 20 classrooms, rooms, and a canteen. With such the spacious and well-equipped facilities and the dedicated and thoughtful care and education of Tiểu Hương mother and the colleges at Quê Hương Humanitarian Center, it can be said that the children have been tasting a dream deserving life, a fairy childhood loaded with happiness. Among the rights of children, perhaps the right of learning, playing, and being loved is the most basic and the legitimate demand, which needs the support of the whole society. Seeing through this, Ms. Tiểu Hương is constantly striving to bring the light of knowledge to all of these children. Thanks to Huỳnh Tiểu Hương Elementary School and Junior High School right in the center, all the children from the age of preschool to junior high school are all educated. Some older children go to the community schools. The most valuable and meaningful gift for her is the fact that the children are docents get their good records and bring back home their rewards from various exams. However, through playing both a father and mother herself, she knows that she must work twice as hard, twice as much effort as she can in order to fulfill the life and the future of her over 350 children. But the more growing up the children become on a daily basis, the greater the burden of worry grows piled up, and she has to work harder and harder as well as staying farther away from them. The capital and the wealth that she has accumulated after dozens of years of real estate business began gradually shrinking. Her prime of youth and health are also on the decline, exhausted and worn out by the gliding by years. However, all these things do not worry her. What makes her worry is the fact that the children are to grow up without enough motherly full love, attention, and care, making them feel entirely complex to life. Therefore, when the Humanitarian Center enters its 18th year, also the time when these children enter their adolescence, Miss Tiểu Hương greatest wish is that there are many benefactors everywhere to become godparents to these children at the center, so that they can join hands with her to bring them up better and better. Whether physical or mental, each person can become a godmother or a godfather to each child, and that surely makes Miss Tiểu Hương feel much more secure. Such the sponsorship can be sharing and or backing a part of schooling fees for these children as well as haunting the center to encourage them. At the time, Quê Hương treats family is solely exploding with more fun and laughter, and that can help the children grow up more confidently, being more self-confident to integrate into the social community. 17 years to steer the boat named Quê Hương, 17 years to suffer from countless difficulties, pieces of slender and bad works from the mere mortals. It was thought that the small woman of Tiểu Hương, struggling with some illness right now, has already collapsed and has long let things run their course. Despite the rumor people have started that she did exploit the children to make charitable benefactions for her self-interest and neglected them, or the rumor that she got the mountains of money from the big shots, but kept complaining. She is still steadfast, being incredibly steady. Miss Tiểu Hương sees that these poor children need the mom to be loved and protected. Such the seeing or saving is enough for her to iron out all the kinds of, to offer the children a warm family, a bright future, and happiness down the road. Now, after all the storms sweeping her, Miss Tiểu Hương has still been working on the humanitarian journey with all her love and enthusiasm. Dreams and plans keep being conducted, such as building a charity hospital for the poor, opening an international school for the children, then getting a new facility in Hamlet 3, Hàm Tân, Bình Thuận province from the Khai Joint Stock Company, and inaugurated the third facility in Tân An, Vĩnh Cửu, Đồng Nai province to further open up many life-changing opportunities to miserable lives. Especially, Miss Tiểu Hương is steering the children reaching their adulthood to many army child schools to later join the army, following the good example of the late top-ranking General Võ Nguyên Giáp, contributing to protecting the country and the homeland. For over the past 17 years, apart from giving them a bright life and future, Quê Hương Humanitarian Center has staged many humanitarian journeys to disadvantaged areas at home and abroad to build and offer humanity homes, give scholarships, wheelchairs, bikes, and create treats for the needy people, children with particular difficult circumstances, with the amount of tens of billion Việt Nam đồng. Additionally, on the holidays for the disabled and children, such as the Day for Disabled Vietnamese on April the 18th, the International Children's Day, the Mid-Autumn Festival, the occasion of the Center Foundation Day, the Lunar New Year, Quê Hương Center always teaches exchange and entertainment programs to hand meaningful reliefs for these subjects. The happy and excited songs hand-to-hand delivered reliefs, along with the delicious meals, regularly and steadily staged by Quê Hương Humanitarian Center, have partially dissipated or released the losses and the disadvantages that these children have to suffer from, so that they can feel this life is warmer and more worth living. Having acquired such the results, along with the efforts of Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương and her co-workers for over the past 17 years, Quê Hương Humanitarian Center has always got the warm support from the leaders of such the agencies, from the central to the local organizations, individuals and enterprises as former Secretary General Lê Khả Phiêu, former Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Khánh, former Vice State President Nguyễn Thị Bình, former Vice State President Trương Mỹ Hoa, former Chairman of the Central Committee of Vietnam Fatherland Front Phạm Thế Duyệt, former Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Minh Thảo. Businesses always accompanied her have been Trải Dũng Joy Stock Company, Trải Phát Food Company Limited, Trắng Kiệt Joy Stock Company, Bacon Six Joy Stock Company, Đức Hải Joy Stock Company, Liêu Quê Sài Gòn Food Industry Company. Such the support has always been encouraging Miss Huỳnh Tiểu Hương to have her more faith and energy to devote herself to the unhappy. Reaching the age of 18, the humanitarian journey of Quê Hương Humanitarian Center keeps going on with many new plans and projects for the future. They are a free hospital for the poor, a cultural village for the children to play and have their daily activities in the space engulfed with natural colors, and a trade teaching center for the once misguided people to better themselves and start up again. And she still keeps working very hard, saving and accumulating each day to kick off each project after another. And above all, Miss Tiểu Hương hopes that the social community is going to keep joining its hands and efforts with her along the way down the road to bring up more than 350 children to be useful grown-ups, so that they can confidently integrate into the social community and then firmly stand on their own feet.